Hello, this is Tim Campbell with Action Coach Business Coaching with my Survive and Thrive Business Spotlight series. The purpose is to interview local business owners to promote them through my social channels and email database. This is a free service I'm providing to support local businesses because if we save every business, we save the economy. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Jeff with Ton Enterprises. Welcome, Jeff. It's great to have you on the program today.
It's great to be here, Tim. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, let's get started with, tell us a little bit about yourself, and if you had a 60-second commercial about your business, what would that commercial be?
Okay, so just a little bit about me is I've been in information technology for, almost 40 years. Recently left the corporate world to spend full time on my company, which, as you mentioned, is Ton Enterprises. My mission with doing this is changing the face of IT, changing the face of information technology. The business skills and leadership skills that have gotten us here after using technology in business for the last 50 or 60 years are not the business skills that our companies need now nor in the future. So my focus is on identifying and building out those skills in emerging technology leaders.
Fantastic. And how long have you been in business for yourself, Jeff?
So I launched this business about 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, when I was writing my first book, Amplify Your Value, and it came out about August 2018. And then, as I said, I went full time in it at the end of March this year, because who wouldn't start a business in a global pandemic?
Exactly, right? It's very strategic.
Exactly.
And I think I remember seeing that you've just launched your second book. Is that correct?
I have. In fact, it just came out as we're recording this. It just came out yesterday. It's called Amplify Your Job Search, Strategies for Finding Your Dream Job.
Fantastic. Well, tell me, who do you serve? Really, who's your best customer? We call that a target audience.
So my target are typically IT leaders and emerging leaders. So chief information officers, vice presidents of IT, their directors and managers. That's the sweet spot for what I do, because that's what I'm trying to teach and change is add to those. We used to call them soft skills, and now I'm calling them essential skills in leaders today. And so that's my target. I say all that, but my book is more general. The one that I just mentioned, it's targeted at really any professional, either in transition or wanting to make a career transition. There's lots of reasons that we could talk about or why I chose that book now, but it's all related to the pandemic.
Yeah, great. So you mentioned the pandemic a couple times, that you went full time during the beginning of it. So what has been the greatest impact that COVID has had on your business?
Well, it's actually given me the opportunity to launch the business and to focus on it. And honestly, the work from home type environment has eliminated some of the commute that I was doing before. And it's enabled me to really focus on launching the business, writing the book, getting all of these things put together, where I probably wouldn't have had that opportunity in a more traditional environment. Not saying that the pandemic has been great. I don't want to leave your listeners with that impression. It's just given me opportunities I probably wouldn't have had otherwise.
Sure. So more specifically, what are one or two actions that you've taken during this crazy time to make a difference, and how has that been working for you?
Well, I've been doing a lot of webinars, virtual webinars, really focusing, quite honestly, on diversity. We have done several webinars over the last, really since April, on diversity. We've done one on gender diversity in information technology. And we've done a couple on racial diversity. In fact, just did one the other night on diversifying your network and why that's important for a technology leader to have a diverse network, and how do you go about making sure that you're building a diverse network. So that's been the way that I would say in my mind has been helping people through this pandemic. I did a workshop with Ball State a couple weeks ago on the three things that a leader needs to be focused on over the course of this pandemic and beyond. And it was you need to be focused on your company, on your team, and most importantly, yourself. And encouraging people to take a time out and check in with themselves about how they're doing. So really been trying to help coach people through this very, very strange time that no one else, we just haven't experienced anything like this before.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Definitely had a number of businesses who, have had different points of time where they've been stuck during this COVID period. And so one of the things I've been doing is offering free pivot sessions to help folks, give them a little nudge in terms of, what can they do differently? And to your point, right, the going from live sessions to virtual sessions is one, relatively easy pivot that companies can make. So glad to hear that you were able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's an interesting question, Jeff. It's been said that smart people learn from their mistakes and wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So what mistakes did you make along the way, and how can other entrepreneurs learn from your experience?
Well, are you speaking along the way as in during the pandemic or just in a broader sense?
In a broader sense, just as a business owner.
Oh man. Well, I've never made any mistakes, so I can't really speak to that. Actually, I've made so many, I don't know which one to really highlight. But I'd say one of the things that happened to me early on in my career as a CIO, as a Chief Information Officer, was not bringing my team along with my vision. In other words, the example was we were working on going towards a cloud environment. And without getting into the details about all that, we selected to start with our email system because that's kind of an easy thing to do. And about a day after going live with the new system, my senior engineer came to me and resigned because he'd always seen himself as an exchange technician that had his hands on the server and was manipulating that. And I just took all that away from him. And I didn't take him on the journey with me so that he could see himself in the new vision, in that new reality. And so I failed to paint that picture for him. Fast forward a couple of years, and we were going through a similar project, and I spent a lot of time with my systems engineer to talk about what does this look like when we're done with this, and what does this mean to you, and where do you fit? And he was 100% bought in, and in fact is still working in the same industry because he just loved the new reality. And I think a large part of that was taking the time to set that vision.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. That same principle is something that I coach business owners on, right? In terms of, Stephen Covey's begin with the end in mind, right? What is the ultimate long-term vision of your business, right? What does your company look like when it's done? What year is it done? And then work backwards from that. And it really is helpful to have that, that inspiration, right? That motivation, that large, big picture, the thing that gets you out of bed every day, right?
Yeah. Well, it goes, you take it beyond that, right? Because you want to have that vision, but you want to paint a picture for the people that work for you in your organization so that they buy into that vision, right? It has to be a compelling story that you're telling, and they have to be able to see themselves in that vision. Sometimes too often as business owners, our vision gets wrapped up in our ROI and our profitability, and that's great for us as business owners, but many of our employees, that transaction, if you will, isn't going to be beneficial to them probably. And so you need this bigger vision for people to grasp onto.
Absolutely. So second last question here, Jeff. I've got your contact information and I'll include that when I post this. But is there anything else that you'd like us to include, like a special offer?
Yes, I have an offer that your listeners can take advantage of. I've created a landing page, so it's www.jeffrey.ton.com/actioncoachindiana. And if you go to that landing page, you'll be able to download one of the tools that I put in my book, Amplify Your Job Search. This is a personal brand amplifier, and it takes you through the process of helping you define your personal brand. So if your listeners need help with that, or perhaps they know someone that does, they can use this to help develop their personal brand and get a great discount on my book.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you for providing that. Last
Certainly.
question here, Jeff. Tell me, during this crazy time, what's been most inspiring to you?
I think what's really been most inspiring to me is we've been able to connect on a far more personal level virtually than we ever did in the office. And I think there's lots of reasons for that, but one of the major ones is we're giving people a window into our homes, right? We're seeing the room behind them on these Zoom calls and the WebEx calls, and we're being interrupted by their kids. And just a few minutes ago, I had my 6-month-old grandson bouncing in my doorway over here while my wife ran a quick errand. So I was babysitting and being on a Zoom call at the same time. But it's that personal connection that I think has been it's been the silver lining in a lot of gray days.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, to share back to that same point, there was 2 dings that happened on my computer because that was telling me that my wife opened up the garage door and closed the garage door. And there's no way for me to edit that out. So it's great that you brought that up.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Now it makes sense, right?
That's pretty funny.
Well, hey, Jeff, thank you for your time today. That concludes the interview. I'd like to invite everyone who's listening today to take advantage of a complimentary coaching session with me to talk through any things that you heard today or just anything that you're struggling with in your business. Just another way that I am trying to help business owners out there to navigate through all this crazy time. So Jeff, thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim. It's been fun.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.